What does food dye, Saudi Arabia having nuclear power, and Watergate have in common? They're all today on the 5-Minute Commute. We start with the question of the day. It's a simple one today, but controversial nonetheless. Do you trust the FDA to make decisions about what is safe for you to eat? Do you? Let us know in the comments, and we'll talk about it more later in the show. Our first story today is that the United States is in talks to help Saudi Arabia build nuclear power. And by nuclear power, we mean nuclear power plants. And this would be a civilian agreement, meaning that people that work in the United States, live in the United States, and are United States companies would be allowed legally to go over there and help them build nuclear power plants. Now, the controversial part of this is that nobody knows exactly what the writing is and whether or not they'll be able to enrich uranium further than just nuclear power, which is exactly what we are concerned about in Iran right now. And Trump, this is the latest update, has said that he doesn't want Saudi Arabia to move any further with this discussion until they join the Abraham Accords. And what are the Abraham Accords? It is the agreement between Israel and many of the countries in that area that they will sort of at least leave Israel alone, if not back them and fight with them. That's the latest on that. On this day in history in 1974, the Supreme Court unanimously, can you believe that? Every single person of the Supreme Court agreed on this. They unanimously agreed that Richard Nixon needed to turn over the Watergate tapes. That was today, 1974. The FDA is moving to get rid of more food colorings. Now, the biggest thing this means to you is that some of the foods that you eat are going to start to look a little different. Yeah, I've already seen that. Have you seen some of the stores, the food in the grocery store that looks a little different? Well, more and more of them are going to start to look a little different because different food dyes are, well, they're not necessarily being banned, although some are being banned. They're just not going to allow some that the permission to use is expiring on. Today is Amelia Earhart Day. Amelia Earhart, as you know, because we did this a few weeks back, Amelia Earhart went to fly around the world and disappeared over the Pacific and was never found again. That being said, one of the bravest women in history is what she's known as, to have done such a thing. And as such, she has her own day, and that day is today. Smoky skies expected again today. I was critiqued for having talked about the smoke before, because, yeah, it's awful in Canada, and it's not very good in Minnesota. And I've talked to my brother, and there are wildfires in Colorado. He lives in Colorado. And one of my friends, Matt, lives in California, and he's talked to me about the wildfires there. I 100% feel for the people that live near and around the actual wildfires. I do. Just so that you know, 100% I do. But here, when the smoke comes in, it's still a news story. And smoke coming in today. We're going to do a little tariff update for you. The tariffs are expanding. They are no longer just Canada that we were talking about. 60 new countries have been added that will affect, this is a big statistic. Listen to this. This will affect 99.4% of all U.S. imports. Now, the tariffs are in the teens, anywhere between 10 and I think 15% is what the majority of the tariffs will be. But 99.4% of items being imported into the United States from our 60 closest allies. That's the newest round of tariffs that are expected. And that brings us to the last mile. And here's what I'd like to talk about in the last mile today. I have been doing this show, actually, just for about a month. But I did a radio show for a long time, and I wrote for the newspaper, and many of you follow me because of what I write on Facebook and have written for a long, long time. And when I did that video last weekend about what was going on in Ottawa, many of you were shocked that that would be my opinion. And I find that the strangest thing, because I thought that after writing my opinion for 20 years, you kind of knew who I was. And many of you have, don't get me wrong. But I just want you to know that I am a person who cares about people. I just do. I can't help it. It's called empathy. I think the world could use more of it. Think about that. Have a great day. And that's going to do it for today. I'm taking off. Time for me to get to work, right? Got to get up early to do the show. Thank you so much for joining me again today. We love those likes. We love those comments. We love those shares. You guys are helping me out. Yesterday, enough people shared that it made up for the people that wouldn't share. You did. If we can get beyond that, we'll get even bigger. And that's pretty cool. Have a great day. And remember, be kind to someone today.